It's gone 9:35 a.m. as we continue with the broadcast this morning, and it's time now to focus on Yemen. The ex-Yemeni President Ali Abdullah Saleh maintaining secret contact with Israel during the time he was in office, and we joined on the line by Ph.D. graduate in Semitic languages and cultures, also scholar in a complete sense of the word. We're joined by Dr. Mustafa Mheta. Dr. Mustafa, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Good morning, brother.
Mubarak to you. Welcome and Jazakallah as always for your time with us here on Salam Media.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Right, Dr. Mustafa, let's talk about the secret ties with Israel. But sometimes we're not surprised when revelations like these come out. And as we see what is taking place right now, where we see now no longer secret ties, we see open ties, we see the likes of the Emirates, Bahrain, Morocco, we see the campaign of Khalifa Haftar in Libya, making it very, very clear about his ties with Israel as well. So let's just understand, in the past, these secret ties were maintained. And let's just talk about Ali Abdullah Saleh, the president of the ex-president of Yemen.
Precisely, I agree with you what you just said. This is not a new thing, brother. This is not a new thing. And we know very, very well that many of the Gulf leaders, what has culminated into the so-called Abrahamic, Accords, is not a new thing. They've been in it. They've been having relations with Israel, a secret, of course, many of these Gulf rulers, for a very long time. For a very long time. And it's not a surprise at all. So what we are seeing now is, a program that is being implemented at the right time, according to them. So this is the right time that now they're coming out and saying, wow, we might as well, just, announce it to the world that, we should have, relationship with them. And this thing, it has been going on, the preparation started a long time ago. You talked about Haftar. You talked about, the Emiratis and the like. The preparation of, all these guys, who would, play the chess started a long time ago. So it's not a new thing. Now, coming to Abdullah Saleh himself in particular, oh yes, I agree with this revelation coming out now that according to the secret papers that the current government in Yemen has gotten kind of where this information that former President Ali Abdullah Saleh was in touch secretly with Israel. Yes, and remember also at that time there was no fallout between him and the other Gulf leaders. It was only when they thought perhaps maybe he had changed his mind, and perhaps that could be one reason why they got rid of him. In the end. So we see this. We see this. It's not a new thing at all, and I totally agree with that assertion.
Yes. Now, also, Dr. Mheta, one thing one needs to understand is when knowing the Israeli government, knowing the Zionist entity for what they are, you give them an opening. You just give them a sniff, and this is what the secret contact actually meant, where it gave them the opportunity to widen their operations and their activities in Yemen during the time of Ali Abdullah Saleh, because Israel obviously looks at Yemen, looks at it as a big danger to its domination in the southern area of the Red Sea. So, all these issues are playing out. And that's why I say is all you need is to give them a small opportunity, like having a secret contact, and they're going to take full advantage of the situation.
Exactly, my brother. I'll tell you. Let's just watch, and see. Perhaps in our lifetime or not. This thing is going to blow in the face of the Arabs. Arabs do not listen. They don't at all. And I'm sorry, for saying that, because it's not all Arabs. Especially, I'm talking of the leadership that we have now in the Arab world. They have been, so much clouded with this belief that, the West and Israel and this and that, we cannot do without them. And they have disobeyed Allah sometimes, and that is going to blow into their faces. Just wait and see, and you will. If we live, to witness that, you will see what the instability that is going to go on in the Arab world soon. Just yesterday, I sent out an opinion, the piece that I wrote for publication, where I looked at, of course, I was looking at African countries only. But if you look at all African countries that have normalized relations with Israel, there is instability. There's some form of instability, and I was looking at the DRC. I looked at Uganda, for instance, Uganda and Rwanda, Kenya, those countries that welcomed Netanyahu and gave him, a red carpet. Look what is going on in Uganda now. I said, why is it that those countries that, my argument was, why is it that those countries that have normalized or have some form of relations with Israel, they're destabilized? The issue is this animal called Zionism that they are playing with is a double, headed snake that will bite you from whatever angle you touch it. And the issue is the system, because this system is so anti-Allah, is so anti-God, that when you embrace it, you declare enmity between you and Allah. So as a people, the country doesn't, operate nicely. This is my own observation, and I can prove it. That all these countries, Ethiopia, look at Ethiopia, Sudan, look at them, and many others. There are some also in West Africa. All of them, they are being destabilized. Why? Why is it so? The so-called development that they talk about, no, you will have scientific, advances, you make a scientific advances in water, agriculture, all this nonsense talking about. We are not saying it. We are not saying that. Instead, we see immediately ISIS appears on the horizon. There is ISIS. Okay? And I was arguing this other day that, okay, South Africa, they are prospecting for oil. And there will be, all of a sudden we will have a big problem of ISIS here. Zimbabwe, a non-Muslim country, very little, the population of Muslims is very small, and concentrated in the urban areas. Okay? Right up in Muzarabani, along the Zambezi, Kabora Bassa basin, there are reports that an Australian company, and it has come out now, an Australian company called Invictus is prospecting for oil, and now they are going to start drilling the wells, next year. And I'm saying they are not ashamed that within no time you will hear there is ISIS in that region. And there is not, from what I know, there's not even one Muslim family that I know is living in Muzaraban. Okay? So the system is terrible. And look at where Yemen is. Look at where Yemen is. Okay? So this is what we are talking about here. Yes, my brother. Hello?
Consequences as a result of this relationship that we can talk about, but I'm sure we can cover that at another time. But for now, Jazakallah, we thank you for your time with us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That was Dr. Mustafa Mheta joining us this morning, which brings us straight on to 9:46 a.m. We come back. We'll be joined by Bram Hanekom talking about the protest action, and that is Africa for Palestine against the Miss Universe pageant that is due to take place in Israel next month.
Looking to get your kick? Kiki's